Hey, this little light of mine. Hey, we gon' turn up, we gon' let it shine. Well, women,
Would you ride for me? Would you die for me? Would you cry for me? Would you provide for me? Ain't no better friend than lay his life for me. Would you ride for me? Would you die for me? Would you ride for me? Yeah. Would you die for me? Yeah. Would you ride for me? Lay down your life for me. That ain't a prophecy. This is prophecy. I'm fulfilling it like a bottle, see. Would you ride for me? Would you die for me? Or would you lie on me? Would you cry on me? Would you lean together, slip and slide on me? Would you provide for me? Lay down your life for me. Gotta give back, that was on me too. I had nobody help me through. Nobody paid the bills, they done helped too. I was left by myself, I was stripped too. No structure in my life, we gon' both relate. I had nobody tell me nothing, till I came in the truth, now it's something. But your brothers never gotta ask something. Would you ride for me? Would you die for me? Would you ride for me? Would you die for me? With a real friend, lay his life for me. That don't mean nothing if you ain't got no charity. Would you die for me? Yeah. Would you die for me? Yeah. Would you provide for me? Lay down your life for me. Would you die for me? Yeah. Would you die for me? Would you ride for me? Lay down your life for me. Got back, sitting on the highway. I'm in route and I'm about to do it your way. I don't act like I'm always in a proud way. Yeah, we prepping like we get ready for Friday. Next Friday, I'm still going in like a curfew. I know you get mad, take it personal. Got me sick, but I fly, call that bird flu. You don't call nobody, would you ride for me? Would you die for me? Would you ride for me? Would you die for me? Would you ride for me? Yeah. Would you ride for me? Yeah. Would you die for me? Yeah. Lay down your life for me.
Tell me that you gon' ride for me. Would you ride just for love? I ain't used to keep no commandments. Now I'm fighting off the lust. I know my brother got me, always there when it's tough. Most High gon' hold me down. I ain't even gon' same thing he did last time, but I was trying to do me. I was trying to live a fast life. He was trying to change me. Had me spiritually in a chokehold. Had to crawl on my knees. I was turned up. I'm in go mode, trying to fight off that sin. Israel rising like an escalator, still adding more like a calculator. Opened my eyes, I was fascinated. Gave me the truth, I was educated. Most High said we a holy nation. Zephaniah 2, that's cooperation. And have a pot to piss in, but if we stick together, we can rock this nation. Start to build some spaces, you know, homes and places. Start formulating ideas, damn. No but rock, but yeah, we can. Tried to tell me that my life was over again. Thank God that they lied and he gives second chances. I've been through some things, but yeah, here I'm still standing. I'm proud of myself, let the church say amen. I've been through some trials, but yet I'm still here standing. I'm looking alive. They wanted me dead, but I'm too resilient. Somehow they mistaken for pride. I'm going through personal, going through church and marital trials at the same time. Health scares, I never did think I'd been challenged, but I got a gird on my loins, and although I've been losing my balance, I keep it inside. They want me to speak on it. Of course I had weak moments, put my head in the word, need a crutch, so I leaned on it. I've always been true for the music. If I wrote it down, I've probably been through it. I've always tried to use my influence, knowing kids listen to the word, so I push the message to them. I wouldn't be real if I ain't do it. And multiple times I've spoken through lines, they hearing my verses and ask if I'm fine. Inflicting this pain on myself, cause I know that it helps someone else to endure through it. If I get chastised, or if they do cancel me, know I survived through it. Yeah. They tried to tell me that my life was over again. Thank God that they lied and he gives second chances. I've been through some things, but yeah, here I'm still standing. I'm proud of myself, let the church say amen.
Unique.
Whoa. Yeah. Straight out the tribe of Judah. You already know. Speaking on the name, man, them boys better show respect. Lying on some things, you would think them boys in politics. Jesus was a black man, but how come they ain't showing that? Left the church and told my pastor, nah, dog, I ain't going back. I can't play no games, man, I got too much to lose. I can't play the middleman, you know I had to choose. We are not the same, man, our doctrines ain't congruent. From a nigga to a God, boy, the Bible got influence. My God'll give it to me, I just know I gotta ask for it. Destruction coming soon, but I know that I can't fast forward. Chariots been flying through the heavens like an asteroid. I got you on my tab for what you speaking in them tabloids. I've been moving spiritually, but they don't take it seriously. I tried to give them warning, I don't think the people hearing me. I gained a lot of enemies, I lost some ones that's dear to me. I'm not your common Christian, boy, this ain't what it appear to be. Speaking on the name, man, them boys better show respect. Lying on some things, you would think them boys in politics. Jesus was a black man, but how come they ain't showing that? Left the church and told my pastor, nah, dog, I ain't going back. Yeah. Dressed up and I'm feeling okay. Hey, they say today gon' be a brighter day. Garment clean, man, I'm dripping, I ain't mean to. Head to toe, I'm shining, man, my friend's game is lethal. Chosen and I'm swagging, man, the nation wish me evil. I'm stepping and I'm flexing, might just turn off for my people. Dressed up and I'm feeling okay. Hey, they say today gon' be a brighter day. They ain't want no trouble, but the trouble coming anyway. They ain't want no problem, but the problem came when we was
Check. Hey, Shalom, Israel, Mosiah in Christ bless. Mosiah in Christ bless. I'm Captain Mattathias. This is Giving the Sense from A to Z. We're going to do Revelations 10. Lord's will, we can get to at least like verse 5 or 7. All right, try to get through it. Who's reading for us today?
Yes, sir. Officer James.
All right, all praises, all praises. Officer James, IT, one-man show back there. All right, Lord's will, you can get it done today. All right, let's get it started. Let's go to Revelations 10. Let's start at verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 10 and verse 1.
Come on.
And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. And his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
Right, so the scripture says John the Revelator saw a vision. All right, this was revealed to him. Remember, he's on the island of Patmos. He saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud. Clothed with a cloud. Give me that one to Psalms 104 real quick. All right, we can do a lot of precepting. Let's see where we end up here. Psalms 104. Let's get that, verse 3.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters.
Right. So the scripture says, start at verse 1. Watch this.
Verse 1. Bless the Lord, O my soul, O Lord my God. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty.
Come on.
Who covereth thyself with light as with a garment. Who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain.
Come on.
Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters.
Right. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. Come on.
Who maketh the clouds his chariot.
Right. Who maketh the clouds his chariot. All right. Remember it said, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud. All right. That cloud is going into his chariot. Watch this. Actually do this, because it said, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. We'll deal with that real quick, but hold Matthew 17. All right, hold Matthew 17. All right, so let's deal with that. Let's go to the book of Genesis. So we about to hold a few. So also hold 2nd Ezra 6. All right, so let's go to the book of Genesis. All right, let me hear chapter 1 and verse 6. Watch this. Genesis chapter 1, verse 6.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 6.
Come on.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters.
Right. So the Lord said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Come on.
And let it divide the waters from the waters.
Read verse 7, and we're going to go back to 6. Watch this.
And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so.
Come on.
Verse 6.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven.
Right. And God called the firmament heaven. God called the firmament heaven. Bishop did a class years ago. Actually, he taught in Tallahassee. All praise the Most High. It was called the 3 heavens and the 4 hells. It was something along those lines. But it was an excellent class. So what do we see here? It says, and God called the firmament heaven. So do me a favor, IT, can you pull something up for us real quick? Could you pull up like a diagram or a depiction of the ozone layer real quick? All right. As he pulls that up, read verse 6 again, officer.
Verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters.
Come on.
And let it divide the waters from the waters.
Right. So there are many different types of waters, and the Lord's about to show us which waters he's talking about. And this goes back to that Psalms 104 and 3. Do you have something? Okay. Go to Google. Let me pick it. Okay, top right. Yeah, let me see that one. Make it big. All right, so, okay, ozone layer. All right, you see that line? Could you put the mouse to the right? There you go. Ozone layer. All right, so you have a section that's above the ozone layer, and you have a section that's below. You see the earth down there? Okay, all praise. So read that again, verse 6. Watch this.
Verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters.
In the midst of the waters. Watch this.
And let it divide the waters from the waters.
Right. Let it divide the waters from the waters. All right. So in the skies, all right, that's waters. All right. So the Lord is letting us know there's waters above the ozone and there's waters below. Read on.
And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so.
Now watch this. Go to the one in 3 Holy Children. Okay. All right, 3 Holy Children. And verse should be like verse 8. Not verse 8, 38. All right, this is the book of the 3 Holy Children, chapter 1, verse 38. Watch this.
The book of 3 Holy Children, 1 verse 38. O ye waters that be above the heaven.
Read that again.
O all ye waters that be above the heaven.
Right. So it says, O all ye waters that be above the heaven. What is that talking about? That's above the firmament. That's space. You understand? That realm right there. Okay, read that verse again.
O all ye waters that be above the heaven. Bless ye the Lord. Praise and exalt him above all forever.
Above all forever. All right. Now, y'all know this one. Sirach 43 and 8. All right, 43 and 7 and 8. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 43, verse 7. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
Watch this.
The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above.
Being an instrument of the armies above. Above what? Above the firmament. Okay, who's in that realm? The angels. Okay, the angels, the Most High Christ. That's their realm up there. Go ahead.
Shining in the firmament of heaven.
See that right there? So go back to Genesis 1 and 6.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters.
Come on.
And let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so.
And it was so. All right. So let's go back. I had you hold something, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Second Ezra.
Second Ezra. Okay. So let's do this. So you got the sky. You understand the clouds and everything. You got the waters, and you have the different bodies of waters that are below the firmament as well. So let's deal with that real quick. Second Ezra 6, and give me verse 38. Watch this.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 38. And I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and said thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed.
Jump down to 41.
Verse 41, upon the second day thou madest the spirit of the firmament.
Right, there you go. The spirit of the firmament, come on.
And commandest it to pass asunder.
It says part.
And commandest it to part asunder.
Right, part asunder means to divide or break into different pieces. Okay, come on.
And to make a division betwixt the waters.
Betwixt the waters. Remember, you had waters that are above the firmament and waters that are below the firmament. Come on.
That the one part might go up and the other remain beneath.
Right, but remain beneath. All right, this is going into the ocean. All right, the ocean. Now jump down to verse 47. Watch this.
Verse 47. Upon the fifth day thou saidst unto the seventh part, where the waters were gathered,
come on,
that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass.
Right. So the funny thing is, you always see like pelicans. You see like the different birds. They're always near the bodies of water, right? Because that's where they were created. And they also give me Genesis 7. All right, that's their habitation naturally. All right, Genesis chapter 7, and give me the one, give me verse 23.
The book of Genesis, chapter 7 and verse 23. And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowls of heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark.
That ain't what I want. That's not what I want at all. Give me the one that, because I'm on my new Bible. Give me the one that say, I might search for it for a second as well. It say the fowls that fly in the heavens or something like that. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see.
Verse 8.
Verse 8, is that it? Let me hear it.
The fowls of everything.
No, that ain't it. Well, you get the point. I think you get the point at this point. I can't remember it off the top. 1 and 20? Okay. Let's hear that.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath a life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven.
There you go. All praises. Thank you. All right, so the birds, they were created from what? They were created from the waters. All right, so they're constantly near the waters, whether it be in the ocean, the sea, or in the heavens, okay? So now, go back to that Psalms 104, and then I want to get Matthew 17. All right, let's get that Psalms 104 real quick, then we get back to Revelations.
The book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
Right. So we got the water part. Now let's deal with the chariot, okay? Let's get Matthew 17 real quick. All right, Matthew chapter 17. And I believe it's started, let me hear, was it verse 5, 4 or 5, something like that?
The book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 4. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elias.
Verse 5, watch this.
While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them.
Right, a bright cloud overshadowed them. This is going into the Lord's chariot that comes from above, okay? Let's read on.
And behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him.
And a lot of you get tripped up on that. A lot of people believe that's the voice of God. Nope, that is an angel speaking on the behalf of the Father. Remember how we went to Sirach 43 and 8 to show that the moon is a meeting hub for the armies above? Think about what army personnel drive. They have what? Military tanks. Guess what? The Lord's army, the angels, they drive what? Chariots. All right. So read that again, verse 5.
Verse 5. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him.
Hear ye him. So the Lord, the Father, was speaking regarding Christ, all right? According to the prophecy, we're not going to go to it, but in Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter, Moses prophesied that Christ would, in fact, come from amongst the brethren, and once he makes his way to the earth, everything else that was before, let that go and listen to him. Hearken unto Messiah. So let's go back to Revelation chapter 10 and give me verse 1. Hey, and hold Matthew 17 again, because we're going to go right back to it. So read that, verse 1.
Revelation chapter 10, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. And his face was as it were the sun.
And his face was as it were the sun. Come on.
And his feet as pillars of fire.
So go back to Matthew 17. All right. And give me verse 2. Give me 1 and 2.
Matthew chapter 17 and verse 1.
Come on.
And after 6 days Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun.
His face did shine as the sun. Just like we read in Revelations 10:1. This angel, it says his face was as it were the sun. Read some more.
And his raiment was white as the light.
Now, when we go back to Revelations 10:1, let's do that. Let's go back.
Revelation chapter 10, verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven.
Go ahead.
Clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head.
Right, and it says a rainbow was upon his head. Let's see what that rainbow represents. Let's go to Genesis 9. All right. Genesis chapter 9 and 13. I want to start at verse 8. We'll read down.
The book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 8.
Come on.
And God spake unto Noah and to his son with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you.
All right, that's the key right there. So remember what happened starting at, Genesis 7, the flood? All right, so the Lord, after the flood was over, after the waters dried up, all right, he set a bow. We're going to read that. Actually, just jump down to 13. Watch this.
Verse 13. I do set my bow in the cloud.
Right, he does set his bow in the cloud. He sets his bow in the cloud. Come on.
And it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth.
Between him and the earth. All right, between him and the earth. So this angel, all right, that we're reading about in Revelations 10:1, referring to who? Christ, Messiah. Okay. Y'all know that. Y'all heard this before. Deacon already brung that out months or a year ago. Give me Revelations 10:1. Now we want to go back and put everything together. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 10, verse 1.
Watch this.
And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head.
The most important thing we want to pick from that is it signifies the covenant that he made. All right, signifies the covenant that he made. Watch this.
And his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
All right, let's read some more.
And he said and he had in his hand a little book open.
Right, so the angel had in his hand a little book. Come on.
And he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth.
All right, let's get that Isaiah 34 and 16. What is the book? All right, what is the book? All right, let's get into that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 16.
Come on.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it had gathered them.
Right. So the book that Christ had in his hand was what? The law, the Bible. All right. Isaiah 30, verse 8. All right. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 8. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book.
And note it where?
In a book.
Right, and note it in a book. Just going over a few precepts. If you don't have them, write them down. Joshua 1 and 8. Y'all should know this one. All right. It says it multiple times throughout the scriptures. Watch this.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
Right, it says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. What is this talking about? The commandments, the Bible. Come on.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night. Why is that? Come on.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
And then thou shalt have good success. All right. Get that in, stay in Joshua. Give me 24. Joshua chapter 24, verse 26. All right. So we're seeing the little book that was in his hand is the scriptures. All right. Watch this.
Joshua chapter 24, verse 26. And Joshua wrote these words in the book of the law of God, and took a great stone and set it up there under an oak that was by the sanctuary of the Lord. And Joshua said,
just let me hear 26 again. My apologies.
Verse 26. And Joshua wrote these words in the book of the law of God.
Right, in the book of the law of God. Going into the laws, going into our history, all right? The judgments, our testimonies, everything, all right? So when we get back to Revelations 10 and 2. Go to Ezekiel 3 real quick. I don't know if I'm going to get to it today, but read that for me. Start at verse 1.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Watch this.
Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Now, the reason why we're going here is using the word roll, all right, but I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, is what it is. Let's go to Revelations 10:9. All right, so Revelations 10:9 is the same as Revelations 10:2. All right, because that book and that roll are one and the same. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 10 and verse 9.
Come on.
And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book.
John said what?
Give me the little book.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
Right, it's going to be bitter, all right, because within the book of the law, within the Bible, there's a lot of things that we come short upon. Meaning, when the scripture says, thou shalt not covet, all right? All of us are subject to covetousness in some form or some fashion. What do I mean by that? Sometimes it could be you're covetous about power. You could be covetous about greed, money. All right, it could be covetous toward another man's wife or whatever it may be. All right, so the bitterness is that correction. All right, that correction that takes place. All right, but at the end of the day, it's going to be sweet as honey. All right, why? Because it's good for you. All right, it's good for you. Watch this. Give me going with that angel in that book. Give me the book of Sirach, chapter I think it's 24. This one just came to my mind. Yes. Watch this. Give me start at verse 19. So this is the book of Sirach 24:19. This is going to go with what we just read in Ezekiel and what we just read in Revelations 10:9. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 19.
Come on.
Come unto me, all ye that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits.
And fill yourselves with my fruits. Who is this talking about? This is talking about Christ. How do we know that? Jump up to verse 1.
Verse 1. Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall glory in the midst of her people. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth, and triumph before his power.
Verse 3 and 4. Watch this. It's all full circle. Watch this.
I came out of the mouth of the Most High, and covered the earth as a cloud.
You see that? He came out of the Most High. Remember, Christ is the only begotten of the Father. All right? When we read in Genesis, when we hear, let there be light, that's Christ right there. He came out of the mouth of the Most High. Read that verse again.
I came out of the mouth of the Most High, and covered the earth as a cloud.
Go ahead.
I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar.
You see that? See, once again, remember, this is that angel. Remember, it said in what? Revelations 10:1. Refresh us real quick. All right, then we're going to come right back to this.
Revelation chapter 10, verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. And his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire.
Right, so go back to that Sirach chapter 24 and verse 4.
Sirach chapter 24, verse 4. I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. I alone compass the circuit of heaven.
You see that? He says, he alone compassed the circuit of heaven. Remember, who made it? He did. Christ made that. What's that? Colossians 1, right? In 15? All right. Christ made all of that. All right. So he says, I alone compassed the circuit of heaven and walked in the bottom of the deep. All right. Watch this.
Colossians chapter 1, verse 15.
Is that it? Let me hear it.
Verse 15. Who was the image of the invisible God.
Come on.
The firstborn of every creature.
Right. The only begotten son. He came out of the mouth of the Most High. Read some more.
For by him were all things created.
There you go. For by Christ all things were created. Come on.
That are in heaven.
And that are where?
That are in heaven.
So go back to Sirach. No, I'm sorry. Finish that and we come back.
For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible.
Now, let's go back to Sirach 24 and 5.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 5. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven.
Because he created it. Come on.
And walked in the bottom of the deep.
Because he created that as well. Go ahead.
In the waves of the sea and in all the earth and in every people and nation, I got a possession.
So now let's go back to verse 19 and 20.
Verse 19. Come unto me, all ye that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits.
Watch this.
For my memorial is sweeter than honey.
You see that? His memorial is sweeter than honey. Come on.
And mine inheritance than the honeycomb.
Right, because think about it. Think about how we're going to get the kingdom. By purging ourselves, right? By applying God's commandments, turning away from our wickedness, which is something that can be difficult to do. All right? Hard to digest, right? Everything that you learned was wrong. So it could be bitter. But the end result is being joint heirs or fellow heirs with Jesus the Christ. You understand? So read verse 20 again.
Verse 20. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and mine inheritance than the honeycomb.
Right, and his inheritance, what's the inheritance? The kingdom of heaven. That's the inheritance. All right, so now let's go back to Revelation. And read that 9 again, then we'll jump back up to 3, I believe.
Revelation chapter 10 and verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. And it shall be in thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
All right, so now let's go back to verse 2.
Verse 2, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth.
Come on.
And cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices.
Right, it says cried with a very, very loud voice. What's that one in Revelations 1? All right. Remember, the angels, they don't speak like men here. All right, they on a different level. All right, like Bishop says, a lot of times we may come in weak or whatever it may be, but we can't stay like that. All right, even when Christ was on the earth, all right, he had a loud voice. People hearken to it. You know what I want, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, read that.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass.
It says his feet like unto what?
Fine brass.
Go ahead.
As if they burned in a furnace.
As if they burn in a furnace. Come on.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
Right, and his voice as a sound of many waters. Very, very loud. Very, very loud. All right, now let's go back to verse 3. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 10, verse 3. And cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth.
When a lion roareth, come on.
And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices.
Right, it says 7 thunders uttered their voices. A voice, if you have a voice, that means it's a method of communication, meaning it's a language to it. All right? So watch this. Watch this. No, read down and I'll jump. Watch this.
Verse 4. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me,
come on.
Seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not.
And write them not. And write them not. So the Lord is telling John, the revelator, he said, what you just heard, because he wanted to write it down, right? But the Lord said what? Read that last part again.
And the angel, seal up those things which the...
Is that from the top? What verse yet?
No, that's verse 4. I'll read it from the top.
Okay.
And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not.
And write them not. So let's do this. Go to the one in Psalms 18, all right? And then we'll go to Exodus 20. Y'all know this, all right? Watch this. Psalms chapter 18. So when you hear that thunder, the Lord's speaking, okay? Understand that. It just said, there was a voice from the 7 thunders. John tried to write it down. The Lord said, don't repeat that. That's not for them to know, okay? That's not for them to know. So read that Psalms 18 real quick.
The book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 13. The Lord also thundered in the heavens.
Right, the Lord also thundered in the heavens. Come on.
And the highest gave his voice.
And the highest did what?
Gave his voice.
Gave his voice. Now, we just hear, you understand? And we're like, damn, I felt that in my soul. You understand? But the Lord is telling us there's an actual language. And at that time, in the spirit, John understood that. All right. Same thing with Paul. Right. Yeah. 2 Corinthians 12 with Paul the Apostles, right? Paul the Apostle went through the same exact thing. Just start at verse 1. We'll read down a little bit.
2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 1. It is not expedient for me doubtless to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord.
Right. So remember in Acts the 9th chapter, all right, remember on the road to Damascus, Paul was blinded by the sun, right? You understand? You see the correlation there? Okay, he was knocked off the horse. He was blinded for 3 days, you understand? And he was taught by Christ, all right? Give me that one in Galatians 1 when he tells us what exactly happened in Acts 9, you know the one at Galatians chapter 1, and it should be like 11. Is it 11? 11. Yeah. There you go. It's 11 and 12. Thank you.
The book of Galatians chapter 1 and verse 11.
Come on.
But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man.
Read on.
For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ.
Right. So Paul is telling us he got those revelations from Christ himself. That's what Paul is telling us. Now, watch this, 2 Corinthians 12. So he had another occurrence. And when you read the book of Acts, the 14th chapter, okay, when he was stoned, when he was lifeless. All right, this is the other account that he had. All right, so let's go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 1. We read down a little bit.
2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 1.
Come on.
It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago.
Right, so that man, remember, that man is talking about himself. Remember, he's not trying to glory. He's not trying to big up himself. All right, so he's speaking what is called the third person, right? Speaking in the third person. So read verse 2 again.
I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago.
Come on.
Whether in the body, I cannot tell. Or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven.
Right, caught up to the third heaven above the firmament. All right, that's where the Lord, the angels, that's where they reside. Come on.
And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell.
You ever heard I'm sorry, finish that.
God knoweth.
So you ever heard somebody say they had like an out-of-body experience, but like they remember it, but they can't like really prove it. So he's like, I know this happened to me. You feel what I'm saying? I know that this happened to me, but I was outside of myself, so I knew I was in another realm, but then my soul, my spirit came back to my body. That's what Paul's explaining to us right now. But he's not saying that it's him to boast himself or put himself on a pedestal, because he mentioned that he's not going to glory about himself. So let's read verse 3 again. Watch this.
Verse 3. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell.
Come on.
God knoweth. How that he was caught up into paradise.
Right, paradise. That's how we know that third heaven, what it's talking about right there. Paradise, it's talking about the kingdom, which is, yes, I'm going to leave it at that. Go ahead.
And heard unspeakable words.
And heard what?
Unspeakable words.
Meaning something that he was not allowed to repeat, but he heard and understood it, though. You understand? So Paul was in the third heaven, okay, in that realm, all right, in that angelic realm. You understand? He's hearing things, he's comprehending them, but he could not repeat them. Finish that.
How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter.
Right. So now when we go back to that Revelations 10, right? Was that verse 4? It said that?
Yes, sir.
All right, read that.
Revelations chapter 10, verse 4.
Come on.
And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write.
He was about to write what he was hearing, because he heard the voices and he understood the voices. So he was about to write those things down, just like Paul said, how that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter. Finish your verse.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered.
Right, so seal up those things, meaning don't reveal them. It's not for us to know in this realm. 2nd Ezra chapter 4. Okay, let's go there. 2nd Ezra chapter 4, and let's read verse 21. All right, watch this.
2nd Ezra chapter 4 and verse 21.
Come on.
For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth.
Right. So the Lord put us in this realm. So the things on this earth we could comprehend to man's understanding and knowledge and IQ. Read some more.
And he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens.
So we see the encounter where John the Revelator and Paul the Apostle both understood what was going on in the heavens. So the angel said, hey, The Lord said, nope, that's for whatever's up here stays up here. All right, when you go back, do not repeat that. You cannot utter that. Sirach 17 and verse 30. All right, Sirach chapter 17, verse 30. Watch this.
The book of Sirach chapter 17, verse 30. For all things cannot be in men.
Right, all things cannot be in men. That's why in order for us to get this kingdom, we have to put off flesh and blood. We have to be changed, all right? We got to be changed. Read some more.
Because the Son of Man is not immortal.
Right, because the Son of Man is not immortal. This flesh is going to die one day. Read verse 32.
Verse 32.
Come on.
He vieweth the power of the height of heaven, and all men are but earth and ashes.
Right, all men are but earth and ashes. This is a corruptible body. It was never meant to last forever. All right, it was never meant to last forever. But that type of wisdom is immortality. You understand? Like it says in Wisdom of Solomon. But I want to get another script out of Wisdom of Solomon to go with what I just mentioned about all things not being in man, because we were meant to return to the ground, okay? That which we were made, you understand? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, and let's do verse 8.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 8.
Come on.
And employing his laborers lewdly, he maketh a vain god of the same clay. Even he which a little before was made of earth himself.
You see that? We were made of earth. And remember what we just read in Sirach 17:32? We were made of that same earth, going into the dust of the ground. All right, but what's in man? A wicked mind, okay? That would give more credit or more appreciation to the things that were created rather than give glory and appreciation to the creator. All right, that's the evil seed that was sown into us, okay? This evil seed that was sown into Adam, and through him, we got the same thing, okay? But throughout it all, that angel bring his book, okay? It may be bitter to digest hearing about yourself, but at the end of the day, it's going to be good, because through it, it's going to be like honey, because that inheritance is going to be immortal. It's going to be forever. All right, let's read that verse again in verse 8.
Verse 8.
Come on.
And employing his laborers lewdly, he maketh a vain god of the same clay.
Read.
Even he which a little before was made of earth himself.
So you got to think of how crazy that is. A carnal man would worship an idol, you understand, from something that he himself was made. That makes no logical sense. Give me the one in Acts 17. I always like to use this example. Because we all know that there's a greater power. Okay, you hear things like Mother Nature and things like that. All they're doing is bypassing the true creator. Give me Acts 17, give me verse 23. Watch this.
The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 23. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription: to the unknown God.
To the what?
The unknown God.
You see that we know that there's a creator. So when you create idols out of dust and clay, or you take a stock or you take a stone and put an inscription on it and say to the unknown God, mind you, the creator, the actual God, created that. All right. So you're taking away all of his glory and honor that's due to him. Read that part again.
I found an altar with this inscription.
Come on.
To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship. Him declare I unto you.
So now let's go back to that Wisdom of Solomon 15 and 8, showing why Paul the Apostle could not explain that to us, and why John the Revelator was told not to write it. All right, watch this.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 8.
Come on.
And employing his laborers lewdly, he maketh a vain god of the same clay.
Go ahead.
Even he which a little before was made of earth himself. And within a little while after returneth to the same, out of the which he was taken.
There you go. He returneth to the same. So we would never. Watch this. Before I say that, give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23. All right, that's why I had to stop what I said right there. Because remember, Adam was a god. You understand? It's because he sinned, that's when death was appointed. Okay? So we were supposed to be immortal, but once that took place, this body was no longer intended to last forever. All right? Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, 23 and 24.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23.
Watch this.
For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity.
Come on.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world. And they that do hold of his side do find it.
There you go. There you go. So now let's go back to where we was at. Verse 8. Just that latter part. Finish that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 8. Out of the which he was taken, when his life which was lent him shall be demanded.
Right, shall be demanded. But, Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 15. All right, Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 15. Watch this.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 15. For righteousness is immortal.
Read that again.
For righteousness is immortal.
Righteousness is immortal. Righteousness is immortal. Go to Romans 7 and 18. Okay? Romans chapter 17 and 18. Watch what the Apostle Paul says right here.
The book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 18.
Come on.
For I know that in me, that is in my flesh.
Right, this carnal body that's supposed to return back to the ground. Come on.
Dwelleth no good thing.
That's why it's got to be destroyed. That's why it's just for a dispensation of time, okay, for us to prove ourselves to the Lord, then we got to get those glorified tabernacles, those glorified bodies. Come on.
For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not.
Right. The will that's present with him, that's the real him. That's his soul. That's his spirit. But the flesh is going against that thing. That's why this has got to be destroyed. So now, let's go back to Revelations 10 and 4.
Revelation chapter 10 and verse 4.
Come on.
And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices.
Yeah. We ain't read that in Exodus 20 about the after the commandments was given. Let's get that. You know what verse it is? Well, when you see it, you should know. Because I forget it off the top of my head. But it's Exodus 20. It should be like 18-ish, 19, something like that.
Yes, sir. The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 18.
Go ahead.
And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking.
Right. The thunderings, the lightnings. Remember, this is the voice of the Lord. We read that in Psalms 18. Come on.
And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die.
Right, so it's letting you know, we don't comprehend that. All we hear is terror. All we feel is the earth shaking. That's all that is. Hebrews 12, okay? Hebrews chapter 12, and give me verse, do I want to start there? Watch this. Give me Hebrews chapter 12, verse 18.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 18.
Come on.
For ye are not come unto the mount that might be touched.
Come on.
And that burned with fire, nor unto blackness and darkness and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words, which voice they that heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them anymore.
Right, that's that thunder right there that we just read about in Exodus, right? That's that thunder. All right, it's a voice. It is a language. And then when John had this vision, he was in the spirit. He understood that language at that time. Okay? Now watch this. Read verse 20. Come on.
Verse 20. For they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast toucheth the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake.
Jump down to 24 and 25.
Verse 24.
Come on.
And to Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant.
Unto Christ, the mediator of the new covenant. Come on.
And to the blood of sprinkling, that speaketh better things than that of Abel.
Talking about Christ, all right, is perfect in his covenant, all right? Speaketh better things than Abel, meaning what? Sacrifice. That's what that represents. And yes, we are under the new covenant. We are under the new covenant. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. If we weren't under the new covenant, you know that you would be dead already, right? You understand that, right? Brother, they don't understand that, because when we were called by Christ, weren't we in the midst of sin? You understand? So they should be put to death according to all of the stuff that they've done and all of the stuff that they've done in this truth. Where's your atonement been the whole time? Because check it, this new covenant, there's no, where they're in the old covenant talk, that's something new. They haven't been saying that. They haven't been preaching that for the last 5 years. So technically, since you haven't been sacrificing the last 5, 10 years, shouldn't you be dead? You understand? That doesn't make any sense. And I highly doubt that they got turtle doves. I highly doubt that they're offering up the sacrifices. There's no temple. You understand? That don't make no sense. We're the temple now, according to Romans, the 12th chapter. So, Lord's will, our people don't fall for that garbage right there. But you got to understand, if you say that you're not in the new covenant, you got to understand there's a lot of stuff that come with that. Okay, so I'm going to drop that. I don't really want to get into that, but I want you to read 24 and 25 again. Watch this.
Verse 24. And to Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant.
Come on.
And to the blood of sprinkling, that speaketh better things than that of Abel.
Watch this.
See that ye refuse not him that speaketh.
You say, wait. It says, see that ye refuse not him that speaketh. Who is that speaking? Remember, we never heard God's voice at any time. Yeah, remember, that's what it say in John 5 and 37, right? So who is speaking? Messiah, Christ. You understand? Verse 25 again.
See that ye refuse not him that speaketh.
Read.
For if they escape not, who refused him that speak on earth, much more shall not we escape if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven.
Come on.
Whose voice then shook the earth.
That's Christ right there, speaking from heaven, whose voice did shake the earth. Come on.
But now he hath promised, saying, yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven.
All right, so now let's go back to that Revelations 10:4. Read down a little bit.
Revelation chapter 10 and verse 4. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things that therein are, and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer.
Right, that there shall be time no longer. That there shall be time no longer. What is that talking about? That's talking about our salvation. Remember, all right, that covenant that he brung with him. Remember, the time is up. He said he wasn't going to destroy the earth with the flood, but the second time, how are you going to destroy it? With nuclear fire. So time's up. Who's the time up for? Luke 21. Okay, let's get that. All right. Luke 21, I believe it's 24, verse 24.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captives into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the what?
The times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. All right, give me Ezekiel 35 and 5. All right, Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. All right, watch this. Watch this.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5.
Come on.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right, even blood's going to pursue thee. Meaning what? There's going to come a time when their time is up. There's going to come a time when their time is up, and that's the time of the Gentiles. Meaning they're not going to be ruling over us anymore because they love blood. Guess what? What's that one in Revelations 13, 9 and 10? Get that real quick.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Come on.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here's the patience and the faith of the saints in Amos 1 and 11 as well. Because remember, they're the ones that's in the land today. All right. And they have, just like I say in Revelation 12, the reason why these things are picking up because they see the truth that's springing forth in the earth. They see the prophets. They see the people of the Lord waking up. So, like I said in Revelations 12, Satan knows he has a short time left. So the angel's revealing to us when he comes, he's telling us that's going to be the end of the Gentiles' rule. Amos 1:11.
The book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 11.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
Right, kept his wrath forever. So let's do this. Let's go back, Revelations 10 and 7. Then we'll wrap up right here. All right, let's get it. Revelations chapter 10 and verse 7. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 10 and verse 7.
Come on.
But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel.
Of the what?
Of the 7th angel.
Job 5 and 19 real quick. All right, because when their time is up, it's our beginning, right? Just like it say Esau's the end of the world, then Jacob's the one that followed. Watch this.
Job chapter 5 verse 19.
Come on.
He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles.
Uh-huh.
Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
No evil's going to touch us. Give me that in Micah chapter 4, verse 4 and 5. Okay. It says no evil's going to touch us at this time. Meaning what? The Gentile rule is now over. Watch this.
Micah chapter 4 verse 4.
Come on.
But they shall sit every man under his vine.
We're going to sit every man under our vine just like in old times. But this time it's going to be the kingdom. Come on.
And under his fig tree.
Uh-huh.
And none shall make them afraid.
And none shall do what?
Make them afraid.
And none shall make us afraid. Who's been making us afraid? The Gentiles, the other nations. They've been persecuting us. Now, go back to Revelations 10:7. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 10 verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished.
Right, the mystery of God shall be finished. Come on.
And he hath declared to his servants, the prophets.
Colossians 1 and 26, real quick. Colossians chapter 1, verse 26. And then I want Ephesians 3 to end right there.
The book of Colossians chapter 1 and verse 26.
Come on.
Even the mystery, which has been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints.
Right, and made manifest to his saints. Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 3. Watch this.
The book of Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 3.
Come on.
How that by revelation he made known unto me the mystery, as I wrote afore in few words.
Come on.
Whereby, when ye read, ye may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Christ.
Come on.
Which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit.
Same thing it just said in Revelations 10, verse 6.
That the Gentiles should be fellow heirs and of the same body and partakers of his promise in Christ by the gospel.
By the gospel. So the northern and southern kingdom are both going to be redeemed under Christ. And those who's keeping the commandments are going to reign forever, and we will not be worried by these Gentiles. All right, all praise to the Most High. Another episode of Giving the Sense from A to Z. I'm Captain Mattathias, and with that, we say,